Well, winners and losers of the weekend. I'm not sure if Clint Bowyer's on the winning or the losing end of that. I mean,
can you be on both?
He will. I mean, I think a lot were on both ends of it throughout the day. I mean, that was early in the race that Logano and Bowyer had their contact. But when I go back and look, you know, Bowyer was running, what, 15th when that final caution came out, ended up inside the top 10. So I think it ended up being good for him, the last yellow, but this was a heck of a day to start the race.
Well, that was lap 432. That happened late in the race, and Clint had clearly the best car on the bottom of the racetrack. He was so fast digging on the bottom. He needed a long run, though. He wasn't as good as he needed to be on short runs. Every time he was in the front, he would give the lead up. He just could not fire off the way he needed to fire off. But a really good day for Clint. And Clint, that's his deal. Like, he's going to run the bottom. He's going to paint the white line and make that work. And he does it better than almost anybody right now, especially since they put the sticky compound down. He's really.
I was wondering what you're going to call it. I heard about 15 different names.
Traction compound.
The sticky stuff. Yeah.
I think traction compound. That's the new one. I like that.
All right.
I definitely. I got a lot of catching up to do in our fantasy tournament, and I picked Newman, Matt DiBenedetto, Suarez, and Austin Dillon, and Brad Kay. Brad Kay was my guarantee. But I had some dark horses in there, and Newman, man, he's really turned that 6 program around. He had an amazing day all day long, even without all that contact and the problems he had with the 9 and the 12. He still battled and in the top 10, in the top 5, many points of the race. And it's, I don't know. I mean, he's inspired or something. He's really, because that team was not very good last year. Even when Matt Kenseth went there to try to help and improve things, it didn't really seem to improve the performance of that car. But man, is Ryan Newman really taking that thing to the next level, and be interesting to see what they can do going forward.
Yeah, and I think it was interesting to see the two. I mean, Ryan comes over and has a conversation with him after the race, and has every right to, but they were fine with it, right? It was either it was far enough before the finish that they still weren't mad. They had a chance. What did he say, Blaine? He goes, "Well, he got me back. He got me back."
Ryan's gonna get you back. I mean, and he should, right? Yeah. It's okay, but everybody was okay because nothing terrible happened.
Right. I mean, I thought that was the end of the race for the 6 car.
Right.
And the 9. I mean, Chase Elliott had a flat tire there, but luckily right at that same time, the 14 gets the flat tire, yellow comes out, kind of gives everybody a chance to regroup, repair some damage, but that could have been bad for everybody.
So you talked about Bowyer having that issue late in the race, right, running in with a 22. But one thing about Clint Bowyer, even though he has a great car, it seems like the one thing that has been a little bit of a struggle for him at Bristol has been the restarts, right? Yeah. I mean, there's been a couple times, I think back to last fall, he was lined up next to his teammate, Kurt Busch, and it didn't go his way that night. This is back in 2018. And listen, restarts are hard, right, to time them right, but he gets beat by his teammate. And then yesterday, you mentioned that you thought that the 14 had some issues yesterday on the restarts as well.
Yeah, well, he had track position, and little things matter, right? If you don't do everything right, it kind of sets you up to be get yourself in trouble. So you can see right here, this was last year. And right. You can just see how bad he was struggling launching on the bottom. And that just makes your job so much harder to go back and make those spots up. If we go back and watch the replay prior to that incident, he had good track position, but he just didn't get launched well. He's having trouble launching on the bottom, and 2 or 3 cars get by him, and now he's got to get back in front of him. In my eyes, he probably should have been in front of Logano, not having to race him, and that ultimately at Bristol, when you're racing side by side, stuff can happen. So, when you're watching a race, right, and you see a guy not get a great restart, you think, well, it's no big deal, but it is. Because you go to a racetrack where it's hard to pass, it's very difficult to get that track position back, especially when you're racing really good cars, and just not being able to launch as well as he needs to. And it went into last year as well. I don't know how you fix that. I don't know if it's a driver thing, if it's a setup thing. I don't know. But they've got to find a way to fix that, because you cannot give up track position late in these races.
Hey, NASCAR fans. Thanks for checking out the NBC Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you hit subscribe below for the latest NASCAR news, race highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.